We should be live. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. Okay. Hey, Maya, how's it going? So, the one thing that I'm gonna throw in here is... Oh, you know what? I meant to do something else. Oh, there's no control space for this. Okay, that's fine. Also, very funny that you joined me here, and then I immediately get the notification that you're playing Slay the Spire 2, because I would absolutely do that. Yep, there it is. If I did not have this content to do, I'd probably be doing that. Yay, first appearance. Okay. Hey, Mark, how's it going? All right, let's take a look. Wait, no, we've already done that. Which one do I still have to do? Cosmic. Cool. Okay, knockdown, armor control. Basically just that. Knockdown, armor control, and unique buffs if possible. That should all be fine. And then we will be fighting Spider-Woman, so... Fight Spider-Woman with debuffs. That should be fine as well. Leave Carrie in there. Hey, Jaden, glad to have you here. Swap over to Twitch for drops. Yeah, there's a reason I put that there. And part of it is because I have missed drops, even though I've been watching MCOC content, just because I forget to have Twitch up. Which is why some people don't like the Twitch drops. But whatever. You can grab them through me if you're here anyway. Hi, I see you on the other one now. Yeah, I've missed way too many. Question, is it just me, or Magic and Stellar Lord first appearances look different? I've heard some people bring that up, Rajat. I haven't noticed, or I haven't, like, really dug into it. Um, yeah, I don't... My suspicion is that it has something to do with, like, the backgrounds between non-first appearance champions are subtly different as well. Like, I think the ones with smaller heads have a little bit... I don't know. I'm not confident in any of this, but I feel like they're a little bit different with how much of the brighter stuff there is. And so it wouldn't shock me if then that led to the first appearance also being a little different. Anywho, let's grab this. Let's grab my rank 4 Odin, because that is what he is for. Feels like a fun scroll path. Neither of them have armor control, though. We're definitely bringing Thanos. Maybe we should bring Null instead. Scroll does have the Undermine at least. Well, and Odin has the True Strike. We're just going to be dealing with them having more power. Which sounds like a bigger issue for Scroll. Yeah, I'll bring Null. I mean, I got rank 5, so might as well use it. Or rank 4s. Do not yet have a Cosmic rank 5. Might by the end of today. Reading through the story, it was so good. Seriously, some of the best stories in this game. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I will pass it along. I've been enjoying it as well. Morning, Sans. Yeah, this is a good one to have him for. I mean, that works. I'll take it. Ah, dang it. Yeah, the extra power rate's annoying. Especially when he forgets that he has specials and completely throws off my tempo. What? Do they have an extra ability accuracy? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, then Armor Shattered is not going to be worth it. I'm just going to restart. I forgot about Adamant Axiom protecting that as well. Alright, not that one. We can leave Scroll in because the Undermine. All of that should be fine. Who do I want instead, then? Angela probably has enough. Yeah, be Angela or Vox. Nah, I've only been here for less than 10 minutes, Clown. How's it going, man? I hope your stream went well. Okay, per that last point, because this guy's annoying, we're using Null. You do have this week's drops. That's funny. Cool, that works. I never get the drops. Oh, I don't care. Maya and I were saying both of us have missed a lot. Like, I'm happy to provide an avenue for people to grab them. Um, but yeah. Like, they're good stuff. They're not game breaking. There we go. Eli. Not cool, bro. One empowered crystal? Is there an empowered crystal at the in the current drops? Am I missing something? Yeah, it was done. Ouch. Buddy. I hate this guy so much. Yeah, it's a 7-star. I picked it already. I mean, eventually, BT. Ascension is functionally a new rarity that launched last month. It is very, very early for Nexuses. It's not that bad, Magnus. I just really despise... Oh, you jerk. I just really despise Shocker's animations in the first place. And I wasn't playing well. Oops. That's not good. Jerk. Gallon here is really terrible, isn't he? Can't stagger, can't nullify, can't fate seal, can't neutralize. Whoops. That's lucky. Yep, there's the harvest. I mean, EQ is a mistake. This was planned. That was dumb. EQ also wasn't dumping extra buffs on him. Really not the same thing at all, honestly. Sorry, I misunderstood then. Well, Null doesn't stop armors, right? Galen wouldn't be gaining mass if Null was actually stopping them. He's just removing them instantly. Alright, let's not trigger the... Yeah. Literally better to get hit. Hey, Cyber, how's it going, man? Alright, 2 quests down. 0.5 seconds for a falter is not awesome. We should be okay. Cool. Yeah, the alliteration is fun. See, that's why I don't like half seconds. Okay. Throw it. Falter charge also isn't stopping, like, listening for decks. And it absolutely should have been built that way, in my opinion. So that just feels like a mistake. Yeah, she has some great cards. It's like in the second one for sure. There are definitely new interesting nodes in 9.4. I think the one I just fought is not one of them, personally. Nice, Warrior. Those are good choices. I mean, obvious bias aside, it's very cool. Old memories work. Hey, get out of the sun. Come here. Great special 3. No idea. Not my call. I don't have any insight on that one. Yeah, no, I just wasn't around for that decision. Because stuff like that with bosses is generally separate from other playtests. So that's more of like a mission design thing. It's been pretty good. I already complained about this node. I think anything that gives you an opening in half-second increments is just not great. But that's not the end of it. Oops. Running into the special one was on purpose. Messing up immediately after that, a little bit less so. Yeah. Ma's a good shout. He was far enough down, I honestly didn't notice him when I was looking through my roster. That's fun. I've had some moments of frustration, but it's all been fine. Don't think I've had to revive yet. I don't think I've spent items yet, but I mean, I'm overpowered for this content, bluntly. How many rank 5s? At the moment, just one. I've got the cats for at least one more. I haven't actually looked to see if it's 2 yet. But yeah, I'm waiting until I get some gems. Whoops. Not cool, bud. Wait, when they go immune, do you also lose all of the falter charges? Because that's insane. Wow, yeah, okay. I don't think that's great design. Jerk. Like, hey, nullify, but don't nullify too much, but also make sure you have enough nullify that Scroll doesn't get his vigilance, because then the entire thing that you're supposed to do for this node will no longer be possible. They were thinking here. Because it's almost impossible to nullify the vigilance. I should have charged heavy into that. What a weird frickin' fight. I would actively not want that, Magnus. That sounds like a fantastic way for you to just burn the invisibility. Yeah, but that's different. Let's go, because like that was a different design philosophy. Like people love talking about those things, but it's not the same thing, right? Like that's if I'm drinking a margarita and I go, "This margarita's really bitter," and people go, "You think that's bitter? You should try Malort." And it's like, yeah, but the point of Malort is to be bitter. The point of a margarita is to be tart and sweet. They're not equivalent. Nice, Junes. Good luck. And that's sweet. What's good? Photon, Gene, Tiger is a good trio. You would be wrong with that, Warrior. Scream and Gladiator reduce armor up ability accuracy, but so do Thanos, Medusa, and Arcus. I'm very jealous of A2 Black Panther. Be jealous of that. Yeah, cream cheese is going. No. But the original point of Act 6 was to be difficult, right? Was to be exclusionary and have only a handful of options. It was to be the hardest content in the game, right? They were actively trying to drive demand for new characters with story content. That's just a completely different design philosophy than what story is now, which is basically like, hey, we'd like to incentivize you to use a broader chunk of your roster, but like, have fun, right? It's just not the same thing. 1 second. I'm trying to remember something. Is acid wash I need to be poison immune or I need to apply poison? I always forget this one. Okay, I need points. All right, that's. Yes. No. I know, but I'm looking at the arcade that I need to fight right now because that affects things. Hey, Boris. I feel like you answered yourself, Junes. If you're saying something would be too strong to put in the game, then why would we do it? Come on, man. All right, I'm just gonna use Nico. Oh, the corrosive one. Okay. See, this is why I have trouble remembering because they're very similar. That's fine. I've got Thanos for that. It wouldn't go on cooldown if the opponent doesn't miss. Yeah, but they might miss. Like, what exactly are you hoping for there, right? For you to whiff a light attack and then how does that turn into an opening? That's my question. If you whiff a light attack, the opponent's mostly far away. Why would you want the invisibility? If anything, that's the kind of thing where it's like I feel like if you get the invisibility, then it's more likely to be accidentally in some kind of chaotic fashion, and then you do cause miss, but don't realize that you can turn it into an opening, and then, yeah, it doesn't sound right to me. Caustic Temper, that's the one. Yeah, I got those two mixed up. Whoops. I dropped block a second too early. Cool. Oh, you're asking for protection if you mess up an intercept attempt. I gotcha. Not just if you whiff further away. Yeah, no, I don't really agree with that one either. The point of a kit like Dracula's is that you should be going for intercepts, right? His protection is all right, they're not playing into intercepts, then you have to do the harder work of hitting their block, right? It is explicitly not the same as something like Dazzler's Dash, Falter, or Kitty's Phase, right? I can see the power there, but I don't think that sounds appropriate. No idea, Aiden. Pardon. We did actually push a hack fix for Zola and for Cross Counter earlier today. I don't think community got around to mentioning that, but Thanos should be consistent for those. I put together a little help. My guess is that Arcade isn't actually using the knockdown trigger. Where is this? Yep. Yeah. Arcade is using a non-standard implementation. That's why it didn't break. All I'm hoping for the gems is not science, because I already have a science rank 5. That's basically all of it. I don't mind all that much beyond it. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Since echo damage isn't fixed yet, you can probably do some absolutely nasty stuff with Jean with this, can't you? Maybe Cassandra as well? I don't know if anybody's tried that. I do, but he's not really ranked yet. Jabari will do well, of course. That looks annoying. Ooh. I want to try that one. I don't think I'm going to be playing the superiority game this time. I think I'm just going to have fun. Joaquin does make sense. Given that those two are specifically cross counter, they should be Wiggum, yeah. Wait, what? Oh, it's the same class where they have it. Whoops, I misread that. Button. Not cool, bro. Agreed, Aiden. She's a cool kid. Heyo. Hey, Silver. Missed you up there. Gross. Locked me in. To the block there. Nice. I only asked for Jackie more relevant SIG. I suppose so. I mean, there are other things you could put into the SIG. I think his SIG is pretty decent at his target matchups. The bleeds are real. Why run Storm Relic on Jean? Because it's the only relic that decreases the opponent's energy resistance. And in most fights, that's going to be more damage for Jean than anything else. She doesn't care about crits, she doesn't care about special damage, she doesn't care about resistances. I mean, you can make her tankier, cool. But for the most part, Gene just does energy damage, and that means that you want to reduce the opponent's energy resistance, thereby increasing it. Jesus, Aiden. That'll do it. Throw this. Now parry. I guess her Daunted is smaller, but I was expecting more. That was my bad. Well, because of the cleanse... Oh no, wait, Onslaught doesn't replace his stuff with cleanse, it's just regular Purify. Yeah, then I guess it's only really Cassandra that goes nuts here, unless you bring House of X for Gentle. That would be stupid. Is Domino Relic the one that's Energy Pen? That would still be good for Jean when... What am I thinking? Sorry, 1 second. Please hold. That would still be good when the opponent has positive energy resistance. Reverb numbers, Jesus. But not nearly as good when the opponent doesn't have energy resistance. The Storm Relic would be better in a vanilla matchup, because most opponents do not have energy resistance. Alright, come here. I've not been playing this particularly well. Oh, right, we didn't have the passive stun there. Like I said. My theory was excellent. Executionless. I will say though, because I think some people are kind of coming to the conclusion that Energy Pen is just worse negative energy resistance, and that's not really true either. Because if the opponent has significant resistance, energy penetration is much more effective at cutting through it, right? The math gets kind of complicated, but for those of you who are used to this kind of diminishing returns math, the important part is that energy penetration, like Negative energy resistance is subtracted from the energy resist stat and then turned into a percent, right? So if your opponent has 8,000 energy resistance and you are reducing their energy um, resistance by 1,000, then they still have 7,000 energy resistance. And that's somewhere in the like 60-65% resistance range, right? However, if your opponent has 8,000 energy resistance, which let's say is somewhere in the like 75% energy resistance, and you have 1,000 energy penetration, then that 1,000 is going to go through the diminishing returns calculation before it becomes a percent, and will then be somewhere around 30%, and then you're reducing their 75% energy resistance all the way down to 45%. These numbers are all made up, they're not precise, but I think it illustrates the point, right? If you are actually trying to cut through significant resistance or armor, the penetration stats are much more effective. It's just that they can't go negative. Hey, Darkness, how's it going, man? All right, let's see if I can play this one a little bit better. Thank God his evade cooldown was fixed. That was a very annoying couple months. There we go. Excuse me. No crits, no crits, la 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 la. Annoying. Bubble shield who? Annoying. Right, the ruptures won't do any damage because he threw a special one. But we're doing totally fine here. And this fight had annoying written all over it, so I'm fine with this. Big yellow numbers. Come on. Hey, dude. Bubble Shield is bugged right now, and the unblockable doesn't happen at all. Who is the last person to update Bubble Shield? Oh my god, the tracking variable for Bubble Shield is misspelled. That's not the error, it's misspelled consistently, but that gets my goose. How there's only one comment in the code for this node, and it says, I don't think this actually does anything. And they're right, it doesn't. Ah! Okay. That's weird. I've never even seen that. Is that a thing? Hmm. It does still look like it should be working. Huh. I'll look into that later. Me too, Cyber. Patriot is ascendable. I think I have 9, 10 rank 4s that are ascendable and are not shown up in my crystals yet. Someday. Alright, what do you do? Alright, we definitely want the same class here. We ideally do not want red numbers unless they work through block, which means we're bringing Sam. Yeah, cool. Yeah, definitely bringing Sam because he works for Caltrops too. Okay. Real quick, who's our remaining boss? Apocalypse. Marvelous. Yeah, I'll read more of that later, but Sam can do it. There's a number of things going on with the gladiator problem. The simplest way to quickly, it's probably not going to be that quick. If people are still here after the last few things, you guys can probably handle the slightly longer explanation. I don't have any strong feelings about EDM either way, Bottle. I don't mind it. I've enjoyed it in the past. I don't have like a long history of raving or anything like that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So the gladiator thing, some of y'all have heard me talk before about how in the past there were a lot of buffs that did not work well with things like hinder or intensify or copy buffs, right? And some of you already know where this is going because there were patch notes about how things were updated to work better with hinder. Basically, the reason that it didn't work was for certain kinds of buffs, we couldn't build them in a way such that they were all self-contained, right? They basically compound buffs, right? Had to be multiple things going on at once. A good example of this is glancing, because it's one of the ones that changed, right? The reason for that is that glancing isn't like a static bonus like armor. It's not your attribute increases by 1,000 while it's active. It's while this buff is active, every time this other thing happens, a third thing happens, right? Every time that you are attacked while this buff is active, there is a chance for another ability to fire. That means multiple discrete pieces of code. And for a long time, we didn't have a way to link those directly, which meant that if somebody messed with the potency of the glancing buff, it didn't matter because the child effect wasn't listening for it. Funnily enough, the reason we have this code is actually because I was in my early drafts for Jean. There was one point where I actually had multiple Daunteds in her kit, and they were different potencies. I was experimenting with the idea of, yeah, basically just multiple different potency Daunted scaling with other effects. And because Daunted is one of those debuffs that isn't a static effect. And if you think about it, that makes sense, right? Because Daunted doesn't do anything by itself. Daunted only does something when it is active and you are in a special animation. So obviously it's one of these compound buffs that has to have extra triggers. And so what I realized at the time was because we didn't have the tech to pass those modifiers along, we couldn't do that. Literally, the implementation that I was considering for Jean wasn't possible. And I ended up designing in a different direction for her, but I requested that tech to say, like, oh, this is actually a huge problem that we cannot build two different Daunteds of different potencies and then reliably use them. And the engineers agreed, and they built us some extra stuff. And we used it in a few other things, but for a long time, excuse me, it was relatively niche. And so the recent cleanup was basically using that tech on a whole bunch of buffs to allow them to scale with potency. Which is why now when you hinder Maestro or Cersei, they cause glancing less often, because it actually cares. Fast forward, Gladiator's confidence buffs are compound buffs, because they increase attack and they increase armor. Two different attributes. One scales with diminishing returns, one doesn't. They do completely different things. And so it was one of those buffs that had to be cleaned up in this way. Problem being, something went wrong. Something compounded, and so Gladiator went absolutely nuts. And I think that is all fair to say publicly facing, but there you go. Alright, let's take a look at this. Not a lot of tech champions that actually do a lot of damage into block. Okay, we'll take Sentinel. That'll be good. Gentle should be good. Dust theoretically is pretty good. Yeah, why not? Take Apocalypse. Excuse me. Yondu could be great, but the Caltrops just sounds not worth dealing with to me personally. Whoa, wait, is there... Oh, Adam and Axiom. There it is. Okay. Well, that stinks. Alright, well, we're not bringing Sam. I'll swap him in at the end. I understand why Adam and Axiom is there, but it just... Sometimes it would be way cooler if only certain buffs were protected. I generally don't answer that one either, Jude. I understand why people ask, and totally fine. But basically asking me to pick favorites among my coworkers' work, and so I generally don't answer that one either. Hey Grim Sleeper, welcome. Just wanted to say, after having sprinted through the challenges in 9.4, really enjoyed the heavily influx of high-level content, fun and rewarding. Glad to hear it. This is the quest I think it is. Yeah, no, I'm sure Onslaught is absolutely cracked. Onslaught is usually cracked, which is why I tend not to use them that much. But I appreciate the shout. Yeah. Who do I want to use then? It's like so many of the bleed immunes in tech want to actually land their hits. What sig is my guardian? That's not enough. I mean, I could literally just use Sentinel for all three of those fights. He'll be fine. Solvark would work. We can bring him for a backup. No, you know what? I'm just gonna do it all with Sentinel and just bring Sam for the end. Yeah, it's enough, but it's kind of boring. Whereas Sentinel will go burr. Unless, of course, he does that. It's very mean. So dumb. Oh, hey Omega, how's it going? Been waiting for 7-star Dust since she came out. Yeah, I love Dust. I was just in a playtest earlier today, telling another designer, you know, this problem reminds me of Dust because Dust solved it this way. Not the first time I've said that. I like Dust a lot. Sentinel for all three. Yeah. I it's fine, but I try and go for at least some variety on these paths. Just cuz. Oh, Nimrod's special lock is going to be very annoying here. Used Corvus for a lot of non-optimal fights because I like him. Respect that too. Corvus has never really done it for me, but he good. Stupid power drain. I get tagged way more than I'm proud of by that. I really thought I had that one too. I was like, alright, just take it nice and slow. Wait for the wind up. It's just a silly beam. Got a ballet performance I'm going to tonight, but I'm going to see if I can get through 9-4 before I go. Nice. What ballet are you seeing? Oh, excuse me. I need to build some Daunted. Yeah, it's fun. Interesting. I haven't heard of Dracula as a ballet. I can definitely see it working. That sounds neat. Is the music an original composition, or are they repurposing something else? I ask because one of my favorite ballets that I've ever seen was a production of Peter Pan that was a collection of Elgar music that they had just put together for it. It wasn't written for that purpose, but they turned it into a ballet. It was really, really cool. I liked it a lot. Um, some of y'all know Elgar from the Enigma Variations. That's what he's most famous for. Or, oh, it was... Actually, I think... Let me fact check myself here real quick. I think he's actually most famous for... Yep. He's actually most famous for Pomp and Circumstance, which is the the graduation march in most of the U.S., at least. But you've heard the Enigma Variations, even if you don't know them. Why doesn't the new UI show the champion rank? Because somebody made a mistake, bluntly. That's been pointed out a lot, and it's definitely getting changed. Yeah, I respect that, Cyber. I like Gentle a lot. No. Only block hits. Excuse me. Well, I hope you enjoy it. How come specific dot vulnerabilities don't work the same way as energy vulnerabilities and that they affect dots retroactively? Because energy and physical vulnerabilities are changing an attribute, right? There's no attribute for damage taken from bleed. And so what those do is those are what we say is they're changing the modifier of the bleeds by increasing how much damage they do in the first place, and it is then spread out over the duration. And so it is locked in at the start, right? Whereas energy and physical vulnerabilities are changing your attribute of your energy or physical resistance, and thus they come in at the damage calculation level. Every single time damage is actually inflicted, they're checked. As opposed to, again, the specific dot ones are only actually checked when the dot is applied. Bit of a different thing there. Let's go dust this time. Right, his physical resistance makes this a real bummer. Now there we go. Okay. I could have done that cleaner. Her power efficiency plus the kinetic instigator really made that clean. I just didn't see the interaction coming ahead of time, and so I didn't play it perfectly, but that was awesome. Sorry for a new question. In the top right of my stream overlay says next champ July. Yes, that's the next champ I am personally designing. And I appreciate the compliment. What am I looking at? No, I'm fine. We're using Sam. Also, thank you to all of y'all on Twitch hanging out. This is definitely more than I've had before. I kind of suspect it's because I was smart enough to put CCP drops in the title this time. But I will take it. Appreciate y'all. I don't know why. Oh no, of course I know why. Because I was used to the whole last path. And so I did that instinctive little delay. Throw my special into block. Oh, right. Why am I baiting a special he can't throw? That's what I'm talking about. Alright. Isn't Brand New Day coming out in July? I think that's accurate. I can't keep track. This is what, the third release date that movie has had? This APOC fight was really weird for me. Didn't understand it, and then I accidentally nuked him. That sounds accurate. I can definitely see how that would happen. Especially with Nimrod, where you just want to parry by default. It's so funny that Ben is old school because like I don't feel like this is a writing mistake. I think it is legitimately consistent with his character that he keeps saying bozos and baddies and he's talking about bad guys and he's not talking about attractive women. But it's 2026 and that's not how my brain keeps reading it. This tripped me every time. It could be. We have had in the past we have sometimes lined up champion releases with movies. We have sometimes not, and sometimes we have tried to line up champion releases with movies, and then the movies have moved, and they are no longer coordinated. And if you want to take a look, or if you want an example for that, then take a look at the last character I used on offense. Anyway. Actually, he might not be an example. I forget exactly how that worked out, but it's happened more than once. You're absolutely right, Aiden. You are absolutely right. All right, we want cosmics and text that are comfortable with spamming special 1 or using the paradox to get to special 2 quickly. So try not to be too fancy. That should be fine. Yes, Black Widow is definitely one of those. For the record, Omega, I now have the Tame Impala song Dracula stuck in my head, and I blame you. Why do XP tokens not really show up in endgame content anymore? It's just been streamlined. I think it's just because I mean it's I don't know if streamlined is the word I would use. I think it's more just like the econ designers probably feel like that's advancing at a quick enough pace with all of the existing sources of refined XP without needing to put it in content. But honestly, I haven't thought about that in a while. Looking back, Maya. Black Panther and Crossbones coming out when Civil War dropped. Um, did Crossbones? Is that when he came out? You might be right. I know you're right on Black Panther, obviously, the name. Huh. Anyway. It is a good song. I will say I prefer the one that's just Tame Impala. I have nothing against Jenny, but I don't feel like she adds to that particular song. I'm going to be completely honest. Oof. I do not miss triple champ months. I'll be honest, when Crossbones came out, I thought that many was going to be way more significant in Civil War. Yeah, we don't always get details from Marvel. See Rintra. But it's fun when we can line up any of the coordination. I quite liked Crossbones' portrayal in the Midnight Suns video game as well. Some of y'all have heard me talk about that before. Oh, station. Okay. Oh ho ho! Now he's handsome. I don't know why I didn't try and dex that. I had nothing to lose. No, God no. Yeah, go away. Why is that button there? Who are the rest of the mutants on this? Should I consider restarting? No, we'll be fine. I am also happy with how Arcade has aged. There are just very, very few things that can live through a Storm X Special 2. It's kind of a bummer, because I could have given her shock immunity if I thought about it. Or him shock immunity. I never think to use Arcade's pre-fights. Totally my fault. Arcade was not one of mine, no. I have not built a tech yet. Why did I do that? I have the ability to parry contact or non-contact. Silly. No, it's not bugged, John. They just wanted the path identities to not line up perfectly with the boss. I called that out as weird, but that was the plan they had. Block proficiency doesn't get added to armor and resistance. It's a separate calculation, but while it's not additive, it is multiplicative, right? So if your total armor and resistances are reducing damage by 50%, and then you have 50% block proficiency, you are reducing incoming damage by 75%. It is why block proficiency stat focus is sometimes better than resistances against block damage, right? If you're the standard champion has somewhere in the realm of like 65% block proficiency and no resistance. However, the block proficiency stat focus could help get you to perfect parries, which can then help you out more than a resistance would, right? But if you're not parrying, and especially if you have higher block proficiency, like say somebody like Scorpion, then you're going to be much better off with a resistance or with armor for reducing block damage. What am I looking at? Oh, yeah. Okay. Buddy. Hmm. Sorry. Your question. I don't have Deathless Thanos. This may be a dumb question, but what does corrosion do exactly? It is physical damage, so similar to rupture. But if the opponent's armor is being reduced, such as from armor break, then it is increased. So very similar to rupture in a lot of ways. But plays well specifically with cosmics with armor. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's going to hurt a lot. Trying to think of a cool tech to bring to the game. I've got a few ideas. I feel like Master Mold right now wouldn't be all that interesting, honestly. Like, we already have a bunch of Sentinels, and I feel like players would expect some power creep, but pretty hard to power creep Nimrod and Bastion, especially when Bastion is so recent. So I wouldn't be super excited about that personally. Big wheel. If we ever add Big Wheel, he's going to Coop. Assuming Coop is still here. Actually, no. Let's have fun. And also, yes, hi, Wicked. Oops. She did not reverse controls then. The snap light. Evil. There we go. Yeah, the exhaustions stink. I will say, when I said let's have fun, I wasn't thinking about the exhaustions, but it worked fine. Sure would be nice if her shield came back a little bit less frequently. Coming along. Been going for 2 hours. Probably don't want to stay up too late. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. But I do appreciate y'all hanging on Twitch, so let me take a look. Who can I raid? One second. I don't know that I like the raid interface, honestly. Not like super clear. Oh well. I need to start investigating some more Twitch streamers because I don't know a lot of these people, and I don't want to send y'all to somebody who is not chill. But I'm gonna go ahead and send y'all over to Abdo. Thank y'all for hanging out. Appreciate it. But before I leave, let me answer this question real quick. When designing special attacks, what's the shared responsibility between designer and art team? Who decides how many hits Blue Marvel Special 2 does? Decides where the slowdown happens for bonus precision. So I timed out the slowdown. That is completely on the code level. which is actually kind of annoying because it means that I have to like look through the animation graph and go, okay, there's the hit on frame, let's say like 35. So if I think that I want to slow down for like 10 frames, then I need to start the slowdown on frame 25, that kind of thing, right? But as far as how many hits there are, that is kind of a conversation between us. That's normally like the animator does something, we have a tech artist who kind of interpolates between that and their best guess, and then we can adjust from there. Like Blue Marvel originally had more hits in his special, and we kind of cut it back a little bit, both to make the decks a little easier defensively and also to kind of make the big hits feel bigger. It was same amount of damage overall, but we just wanted to concentrate it a little bit so you felt it. Anyway, hope that answered that. But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out. I'm gonna take